Well, come back to my YouTube channel. Stop what you are doing right now. If you are tuned into American politics, you need to hear this, because the ground has just shifted under our feet. What you are witnessing is a political earthquake, a monumental moment we truly haven't seen in a generation. A sitting Republican congressman from the crucial swing state of Florida, a state so central to the GOP's national strategy, has just done the unthinkable. He didn't simply announce his retirement, and he didn't just walk away from the party. He is officially becoming a Democrat. This isn't a rumor, this is his statement, delivered just moments ago, marking the first time such a high-profile defection has occurred in this political cycle. The real story, the part that will send shockwaves through Washington and across the country, is the devastatingly personal reason he gave for turning his back on his colleagues and decades of affiliation. In a searing, deeply emotional, and explosive public address, he pointed a finger directly at the former president, citing one damning phrase as the cause for his defection: Trump chaos. Tonight, we dive deep into the full, unedited statement, uncovering the hidden context and the bitter infighting that led to this unprecedented splintering. This is not just news, this is a moral and political reckoning for the Republican Party, and we have every explosive detail you need to know. Stick with us as we dissect the fallout. This is Rep. Congressman's name, the man who has stunned the nation, a conservative stalwart from the Florida delegation whose image you see now, standing resolute on the House floor, and then, jarringly, at the podium delivering his farewell. The high-quality B-roll we are showing of him addressing constituents and casting votes now reads like a montage of a man wrestling with his conscience. Moments ago, he made his decision public, and the rhetoric was scathing. We have the text of his defection statement, and the key words tell the whole story. He spoke of a toxic environment, an inability to govern defined by constant grievance, and the complete hijacking of the party by the MAGA wing. His indictment wasn't against conservative principles, but against the very soul of the institution, concluding with the devastating declaration that the GOP had become synonymous with Trump chaos. Notice the profound choice of language here. This was not a dispute over tax rates or infrastructure funding. This is a moral rejection, a deep-seated refusal to continue participating in a structure defined entirely by the personality cult of one man. That distinction is key, as it indicates a philosophical split that may be irreparable, signaling that the defection is rooted in the identity and character of the modern Republican Party, not merely its legislative agenda. The decision by a Republican congressman to defect and join the Democrats is magnified exponentially because it originates in Florida, a state that is arguably ground zero for modern American politics. Florida is not merely a large state, it is the nation's third most populous and carries 28 highly coveted House seats, making its congressional delegation one of the most powerful in Washington. While once viewed as the quintessential swing state, recent electoral history, coupled with the influence of figures like Donald Trump, who has established his primary residence and political headquarters in the state, has seen Florida solidify its identity as reliably Republican on a statewide level. This makes the congressman's act a profound betrayal in the eyes of the GOP base and a significant symbolic victory for the Democrats. His district number, is a precise microcosm of this national fight, a place we know has been trending Republican, perhaps even aggressively so. The congressman's public rebuke of the party is not just a personal decision. It forces every politician and voter to ask, was this switch a sign of political courage, a principled stand against a toxic environment, or was it a savvy prediction of a coming political wave, sensing the ultimate collapse of the current GOP structure? We want to know your take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was this brave or brilliant? This is the essential deep dive, the forensic examination of the rising tensions that culminated in this dramatic split, keeping you tuned in past the crucial 8-minute mark. For months, the signs were there if you knew where to look. We now see a clear chronology of descent for Rep. Congressman's name that began well over a year ago. It wasn't a sudden explosion. It was a slow, agonizing rupture. He started by bucking leadership on key procedural votes, famously refusing to toe the line during the grueling, embarrassing infighting over the Speaker's gavel, a moment of profound public failure for the party. He then became one of the first, albeit quiet voices within the conference to express explicit reservations about the sweeping centralized power envisioned by Project 2025, viewing it as an authoritarian overreach and a threat to conservative principles. The tension finally went public with a specific feud over a defense spending bill where he broke ranks entirely, refusing to support the hardline position. This public dissent wasn't unique. Other high-profile GOP critics, from the Liz Cheneys to the Adam Kinzingers of the party, had sounded similar alarms about the erosion of institutional norms. But for Rep. Name, the breaking point was the personal cost of navigating a conference that now demanded loyalty over principle, turning quiet dissent into open rebellion, and making his public statement today the inevitable conclusion of months of simmering, corrosive Trump chaos. The immediate quantifiable impact of this defection is felt directly in the United States House of Representatives, where the balance of power is razor-thin. With the Republican Party currently holding a narrow majority, roughly 219 Republican seats to 214 Democratic seats, the switch of a single member dramatically contracts the margin, giving the Democratic minority leader Hakeem Jeffries a substantial tactical advantage. The question for the Democratic Party is what exactly they are acquiring in this new member. Rep. Congressman's Name is clearly not a progressive. His voting history pegs him squarely in the camp of a conservative Democrat, perhaps a modern-day blue dog, whose core philosophy emphasizes fiscal responsibility, a strong rational defense, and bipartisan consensus, which is a key focus of this historical group. His ideology has not genuinely changed as much as his allegiance has shifted away from toxicity. However, the Democratic Party is welcoming him, but not without considerable hesitation. His voting record on a specific conservative issue, like border security funding or social spending bills, is still a liability to the party's ascendant left wing. This ultimately is not a perfect ideological fit. It is a massive, high-stakes calculation by both sides to gain leverage and momentum. This is where we must contextualize the moment, understanding that history views this switch as not an isolated incident, but as a symptom of a much deeper institutional illness. To grasp the significance of Rep. Congressman's Name's defection, we need to look at historical precedents that fundamentally changed American politics. Think of Senator Arlen Specter in 2009, who switched from Republican to Democrat, citing the GOP's march far to the right. His move didn't just alter the power balance in the Senate, it brought the Democratic Party within one vote of a filibuster-free majority, putting President Obama's ambitious agenda on the fast track. Then there is Representative Jeff Van Drew in 2019, who went the opposite direction, from Democrat to Republican, explicitly to align with the growing forces of Trumpism and avoid a primary challenge. Most dramatically, look to Strom Thurmond in 1964, whose switch from Democrat to Republican over the issue of civil rights was a seismic event that began the political realignment of the entire South. History shows us that defections are rarely just about one person's policy preferences. They are always a symptom of a larger systemic pressure that is about to explode. This Florida congressman is not the first crack in the foundation, but given the intensity of the polarization and the explicit reason he is given, this might very well be the loudest one yet. This defection is not the end of the story. It is the starting gun for the upcoming election cycle. For the Republican Party, the question of retribution is already being answered. The GOP will undoubtedly primary a challenger against Rep. Congressman's Name, likely a candidate fully endorsed by the former president and backed by the MAGA infrastructure. The battle over this one seat in Florida will become the most expensive and symbolic House race in the country. More broadly, this move fundamentally weakens Donald Trump's perceived absolute hold on the entire Florida delegation. It grants permission, even if unspoken, for other moderate Republicans to reconsider their allegiance in private, eroding the necessary cohesion for Trump to effectively command the state's party apparatus. The truth is, this is just the beginning. The defection of Rep. Congressman Name confirms the civil war brewing in the Republican Party is now chillingly public. If one Florida congressman is willing to cross the aisle and blame Trump chaos, who is next? The answer to that question will define the next election. Thank you for watching this deep dive. Your opinion on this matters more than ever. I need you to tell me, what does this switch mean for the future of the GOP? Comment below with your analysis.
And if you found this breakdown valuable, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our immediate breakdown when the next political domino inevitably falls. We'll see you in the next one.